Alrighty, welcome back. I'm your man Bad Chad, and Queen Jolene's on the camera, and we are on air. And we have Doug in the house. And right now, at the present moment, Doug is messing with the electric window. He's got everything torn apart, and he's saying that that motor there did not work on that side. So by the looks of things, he's got the drill hooked onto it. And from what I understand, what are you going to do with that, Doug? He's going to spin the electric motor. I'm not sure what's going to happen there, but he's got some crown penetrant he's going to put on it.
Want to spray this for me, buddy?
No, you go ahead. Doug's going to spray get the window put back together if you can. I'm going to do some bodywork process, or I'm going to show you what I'm doing for the bodywork process. I put a little bit of filler on this morning. You can see right now there is the ocean floor. What I call the ocean floor is the car. That's the highest. The ocean floor is not the highest, but as soon as you hit the ocean floor, you have to stop. Basically is what I'm saying. The ocean floor there. Where it's not sanded means the flood is not high enough there. Fiberglass there means we're really close. Fiberglass is stuff we have on first. So basically I'm doing this. I'm going to knock off the paint on the roof and apply a coat of fiberglass filler, just a thin coat. And the reason being it's going to be really thin because it's welded right across and it's going to be flat. So in other words, to make this look nice across here, that squash of filler or we have across here was going to be about that wide. We're not going to have something like that wide. We're going to have something about like that to feather it out nice, just like the drywall. We got the trunk lid over here. If you stay for the whole video, we're going to do at the end of the video, we're going to go across to the new shop and we're going to show you the updates on the Bugatti there. Doug stripped the outside of this trunk lid earlier and I sandblasted the edges of it. Right now I fiberglassed. I cut some of the lips back and I've put some fiberglass over the edge of the lips. And the reason being was because some of it was chewed off a little bit and I smoothed it up with a grinder best I could. And Jolene said, "You're not going to put the lips back in it?" Yes, I am. But I'm going to sand it and cut it in with the zip cut. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sand that fiberglass filler and then I will cut a line in it. I can show you as far as I go. So you can see where the line is now of the lip there. And then I'll cut the line in with the zip cut. And then I can seam seal it so you would think if you looked at it that the lip was perfect. And that's the whole thing with the bodywork situation. You're trying to make it look like it's never been fixed before. It's the ultimate of disguise. So when I go to work on the car anywheres, if I can't tell it's been fixed, they've done an excellent job. And that's basically what I'm doing. I'm going to put a lip in this. I'll put the lip back. The lip's there. You can see where I've put the fiberglass over top of the lip. Some of it was chewed back there and I took the grinder and cleaned it out a little bit, but I want to make it so it looks really good. I'll cut the lip back in that, just trying to make it look the best it can. But it needed a little bit of glass here, in my opinion. I've got the hood up front. The hood up front glassed. I put a little glass on the hood there where we fixed that. I do not want to take the glass off the hood. I want to just buff that very easily and take a little bit of glass off, like take the rough stuff up, but I want to leave that glass there because that's the stuff I'm hoping that's going to keep us until the end of time. That's probably not true, but what I'm saying is I want to keep that glass there the best I can. So Doug has got a sort of a mess going on here, sort of a mess. He doesn't, when you get a car that's all in pieces, that's what you got to deal with. And Doug is trying to get the window put together. And is the motor going to work?
Yeah, it works just fine. Works just fine. It's fun good. I was just putting it back together.
So you got it to work?
Yeah.
Okay, show me. Show me, old brother. Show me. So when he first got this rocking and rolling, it did not work. And he spun it on the drill, and I was kind of wondering what he was doing, but I guess look at that now, would you? Huh? I put an electric toothbrush on that. I put a little toothbrush on that.
That works really slick now.
Good. Awesome.
Awesome. That's what I said too.
So, him putting it on the end of the drill like that, I wonder what it did. It probably just cleaned things up.
Just clean most of it out. Got it spinning again.
Well, there you go.
I couldn't spin it by hand. Just clean it out again.
Alrighty, so I got the top of the window, I got that ground out. It's not cleaned yet for filler. We want to clean that off. I got that ground there. You can see where I've got the ground off. All in there is cleaned up. Got my pieces put in. Everything's looking good. But in order to get this part here, I'm going to take the sander. I'm going to buff that back a little bit. Before I even start, you can see this is how I'm going to do this. I probably would have done it earlier, but I wanted to show you where I have light spots where the flood has not been sanded. What I call the flood is the filler that I put on, because I'm putting it over the ocean floor. The ocean floor is the car, and the flood is the filler that I'm putting on. You can see where the flood is not high enough, and I'm hitting ocean floor. So I'm just going to put a little bit on that right there. I'll put a little bit on that. I'll sand this off. That'll dry. And then I'll coat the whole thing again. I'm not going to come in here and put a little filler on that, put a little filler on that, a little filler on that, a little filler there, and try to sand it off and make it work. I'm not going to do that. And the reason being is because there's ocean floor there, ocean floor there, there's ocean floor there. What I mean is the car. And I want to sand it all off at one playing field. So I don't do that. I do not try to come in and fix that, and that, and that, and that. I put a little bit in it, and then I will let it dry, and then I coat the whole thing. We'll do that first. We'll do that first. I'm just going to mix a little filler up. Thanks for coming back, everybody. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Not sure where we're going with this car right at the present moment. I guess we're trying to get it put together, I guess, and do some body work on it. And we'll see where we go from there. I'm not sure if we're going to paint. You're going to have to stick with us to see if we get to paint. And also, I will not get to paint until the motor gets fabbed in it. And the reason being is, I don't want to paint it all up, take the hood off, and then try to cut things and get it around and over the hood and all that stuff, or over the fenders to make a motor fit. But we plan on putting a 351 Windsor into it. 351 Windsor out of a 89, an 89 351 Windsor, and then we're going to put a 5-speed behind it. We bought it on Facebook. Or Facebook and YouTube, did we not? Did we YouTube that, or that's just Facebook?
I can't remember.
Anyways, we're going to try to do different content for Facebook. Try to just a little bit. So if you want more content, just putting it on the low places of the flood. If you want more content, you can go to our Facebook, and there will be more on there. We'll show you a little bit stuff that we're doing. And the reason being is it's a lot of work for Jolene to get up and cut the videos to make shows for Facebook. So we're just going to do our 3-minute content or 4-minute content, and that way there's a little less work for Jolene. She has enough to do. She has enough to do, believe me. I was on Facebook yesterday or the day before. I seen half-assed customs. Half-assed, is it?
Yeah, I think so.
Half-assed customs. I think we've been in touch before about the LS.
Yes.
Was it? And his garage burnt down. And that's like, wow, that'd be devastating. And I don't know what to say, really, to be honest with you, but other than my thoughts are with you. I would never want my shop to burn down, but if anybody, I don't know, what's going on there, but I just want to say that I don't know what to say, to be honest with you. It's just a terrible thing that's happened. Give him a shout out, whatever. Give him a shout out. Hope everything goes well. He does the exact same thing we do. We do YouTube content, and I'm hoping that things go well for you. Just you're in my thoughts. How's that? I would hate for it to happen to us, or anybody, as far as that goes. But anyways, there you go. So I just did the lower places, kind of coated the lower places, and then I'll let that dry, and then I'll put a coat over the whole thing, and then I'll sand the whole thing. Got my brain going 7 different places right at the present second. Also, it is Mental Health Month. You know, we've been asked to talk about it a little bit.
I just want to talk about mental health for a quick second. I want to thank BetterHelp for sponsoring this video. It is Mental Health Awareness Month, so what better time to shed some light on, you know, the help that's out there than right now. BetterHelp is the world's largest therapy service, and it's 100% online. To get started, you just answer a few questions about your needs and preferences. That way, BetterHelp can match you with the right therapist from their network. You can talk to your therapist however you feel comfortable, whether it's via text, chat, phone, or video call. You can message your therapist at any time and schedule live sessions when it's convenient for you. If your therapist isn't the right fit for any reason, you can switch to a new therapist at no additional charge. Thanks to BetterHelp, you can get 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/badchad. betterhelp.com/badchad. Back to building cars.
You know, there's many issues in life that can take you down, and this is what helps me, staying busy. And that's what I always talk about. When you're busy, your brain does not go them places that can take you down. So when I'm busy, like I said, I don't think about things other than what I'm doing. And if you can stay busy, you can be in a good place. Idle hands is the devil's broth. When you get still and you get thinking about things, you can think some stupid stuff. So get yourself a project, get working on it, keep yourself busy. That's my suggestion. So I got some paint here that's peeling off a little bit. I'm not sure what's going on. You can see how when I blew that, it kind of chipped off there. I'm just going to see what a strip's like with this before I know what I'm going to do. A little trick, this pad is getting wore out. A little trick to get this pad off is to get the heat gun rolling. I think I've showed that many times, but we're going to show it again. Goes off nice. How you making out, Douglas?
Great, man. How are you doing?
Good. Jolene looks amazing today, as always. Probably shouldn't just throw that on the floor, because you know what's going to have to happen? I'm going to have to pick it up. But it is what it is. that paint right there, the paint underneath the primer is sticking really well, so I don't feel like I'm going to strip it right down to the bare metal. I can strip it off just like that. That feels scratched up nice. That paint's sticking on real good. Do you want something to stand on, sweetheart? Grinding off hard. Lacquer thinner primer. Do not put body filler over top or lacquer thinner primer because it does not stick or adhere. So you got to be careful in that sort of situation. I'm going to try to get that primer off so I can get some filler on it. But if it was lacquer thinner primer, it does not stick. Lacquer thinner primer is the thinner that you mix with the primer, then you put it on, it dries really quick. The primer I use is a polyester and it adheres really good. It has a hardener with it. That white paint there is sticking really good. The primer on top of it, I'm taking that off. So I will put my filler over top of that paint. That's the hole where I put the self-tapper through, but I just welded it up. That's why that little spot's there. That's when I put the roof together. A little rust right there. I'll take it right down the bare metal. You never know what you're going to find. This is what I'm thinking. I welded together here. I've cleaned that much off on this side. I'm going to clean that much off on that side, and then I'll put a little fiberglass filler down through the middle, and then we'll apply filler on from here over to here. I was saying to Jolene earlier that when we do the metal work, and be careful, sweetheart, when we do the metal work and stuff, and we grind it all off, and it looks really nice, you know, it looks pretty good. The metal work all looks good when we did the back, when we did the window, or when we did around the window, when we do the hood, we strip it down, when we do the trunk, they strip it down, it looks absolutely awesome. Then I go and put body filler on it and fiberglass on it and body filler on it, and then we do videos that don't look that greatest. And the reason being is we're putting filler over top of all that nice metal. But in actual fact, that's the way it goes. That's the way it is. I mean, I know that it takes the beauty out of it, but when it's painted, it puts the beauty in the car, to be honest with you. So to put the filler on it and to ruin the bodywork to make it what it looked like, we could go to the end and show it all in bare metal and then throw the car aside, and you'd only see it in bare metal when it comes back and it would be primed and you paint it. You know, that'd be fantastic, but you do not get actually to see what actually is going on to make it what it is. And that's where we're live and we do the process. You get to actually see what happens. So if you see something in bare metal, you know, this process has to be done. and we're showing you that as we go along, and I hope that you appreciate it. And if you do not appreciate it, you're the kind of person that needs your car welded up and let someone else do the body work, because this is actually what happens. So if you take your car to the body shop and you're wondering why it takes so long, look how long it takes me just to strip this little piece to try to get it ready to put the filler on. Just how long it takes. So Doug's been in here this morning. You know, he's been on the 2 or 3 hours on the door, but he had to try to find all the pieces, find all the bolts, find all the pieces to put that door together and figure it out. So now he's basically on his way to figuring it out, and that's a good thing, but it takes time. Every time you try to do something to a car, it takes time. It takes time. Stick with us. We're going to walk over to the other shop. I'll put a little filler on this. We'll stick with us and we'll take you over to the shop and show you the Bugatti. Or we'll show you the chassis. What's going on and what's being done. Now, I'm going to say, a little spot. Also, when we put the back seat in yesterday, I was going through Facebook. I usually run, you know, I do my scroll thing at nighttime. Jolene gets my little computer, and I get to scroll. And at nighttime, I get scroll things, and I seen someone say, I thought it was going to be a two-seater. Well, it is a two-seater, but yet, if the back seat still fits, why would I not use it? You know, basically, that's what I'm thinking. Like, I mean, there's not much room back there. I mean, the seat, we actually got the seat in there. It's kind of jammed ahead quite a ways because it was laid back before. We're 12.5 inches forward, so the seat is kind of up straight. We had to cut that back piece. Then you had the package tray. But if the seat still fits, why would we not use that for that space? I mean, that only makes sense to me. For someone to think, well, I thought it was going to be a two-seater. Well, I mean, come on now. If the seat still fits, why would you not use it, and why would you not try to use it if it still fits? It kind of doesn't. Yeah. I think that's only common sense. But sometimes common sense is not that common, I guess. So, I have, you see me put the filler on that, and I only put it on the lower places of the flood. But now I'm going to cover it again. And the reason being is I want to sand it all at one time to make it nice. If I come in here with the sander and try to sand it again, I'm going to hit there. I'm going to hit I've covered it, but I'm going to hit that again. I'm going to hit that again. And I'm going to hit this here. And I'm going to hit this here. Well, I want that there because that was the highest place of the flood. So what I want to do is cover it all again and sand it all down at one time, hoping that I bring it all together as one flood. So let's do the glass up here first. And the reason what I'm going to do is I'm just going to throw a little bit of glass on the seam, just a little tiny bit. That way there I can say I did it. I'm just hoping for the best protection that I can get. We'll throw a little bit on. How you making out, Doug?
Oh, struggling as usual.
Oh, that's all right. That's all right. That's what it's all about. Just as long as you handle it right. Sometimes I don't, and sometimes I do. But they say what did they say? Growing is a sign of intelligence. Did you ever hear that before, Doug?
Yep.
Wow. Jolene told me that this morning. I said, I'm growing, babe. She goes, well, that's a sign of intelligence. And I said, does that mean I'm smart? I don't know if it means I'm smart or not. It just means that, you know, I don't know what to say. So just got a little bit. This is the trick that I do all the time for the new people that have not been here all the time, that come in, and we appreciate you coming. Please come back. But this is resin for fiberglass. When you mix fiberglass for the mat and stuff, you would use that, and you would use a liquid hardener. I use the resin to put in my fiberglass to thin it out a little bit. And I'm going to even put a little bit more in. I want it a little bit thinner. Across the center of that roof, I'm not going for filling. I'm going for protection against anything that would harm or come through the weld or anything. I'm just using it for strength, that sort of stuff. I basically I'm not thinking that I'm going to be grinding this off. I might be a little bit, but it's very, can I say, very highly unlikely that I'm going to be grinding it off. I don't want to grind it off. I want to use it. And you know what they say, if you don't use it, you lose it. A lot of hardening at that time, and I'll tell you why, because it really changed the color of the fiberglass. Now I'm getting Doug to put the electric windows back in the doors, or try to figure it out, because that's what that looked like when we first came. Just trying to get it put back in. So we'll put the back window in, hopefully, and then we'll get to see, or we'll show you what the actual difference is of what we're doing here, or what we have done. I like to put it on and then spread it out. Doug says he's going to put the shocks back in this car because it keeps talking to him. We just want a skiff over to make it cover the weld. That's what we want. That's all we want. It's for our peace of mind that we did the best job we could to cover the weld. That's all it's for. Peace of mind. Oh, I got a little bit of dirt in it, but that's fine. So just kind of on there to cover the weld. Whatever I got excess left over, we're going to go with that. Got to clean this off every time. Try to clean it off the best I can. I'm going to put a rag right there. I'm happy that Doug got the motor working for the power window. That makes me happy. I would never have thought about putting it on the drill and turning it over. Never would have thought of that. Alrighty. Now we're going for the filler around the porthole. And we're going to coat the whole thing again. I'm just going to go over and take a look and see if I got the right amount on. I'm going to put some tape on the bottom, I guess, around the, I don't want no filler on top of this filler. And if I do put filler on top of the filler that I've got down here, that means I got to sand that filler off. And if I hit that filler, it changes things. So be very careful of that. Or you would like to be, anyways. Trying to do the best job you can. We'll do that. And when I mix this stuff up, I always plan for more than I need. You always put more on than you need. Doug's going for a window, see that? So we're going to get to see, Doug's going to get that bad boy put together. We're going to get to see the difference, what the car used to be and what it is now. I'm waiting for you, sweetheart.
Thanks, honey.
I don't really want it up there where it's not scratched off. So I'm saying that's pretty good. That's good around there. But we're covering it because we're going to sand it all as one. Just gonna go the other way on that. That's better. That better. No, that's what I don't want. Piece in the old filler makes a filler ugly, especially when you're trying to put it on nice. Now, I didn't get quite enough. Take some off there because I had more on there. I need it. Gotta go easy on that. Spreading it. There. I'm hoping that I can sand that all off in one that's where playing with it too long is what I'm doing. Anyways, I'm hoping I can get it all off in one swath this time. Hoping. It's getting to that point where it's probably getting hard and I should stay out of it. All right, let's get out of it. So it's covered. So you see me cover the low spot, then I covered the whole thing. So I'm hoping that when I sand the whole thing, that I can get it and I'm not messing with anything else. I'm just sanding it down once. And I feel like that's a better way to do it. It is a better way to do it. And the reason being is because I'm not sanding the filler that's good to get the stuff that I'm trying to fix. I'm actually bringing the fill down to exactly where it was good and fixing the rough or the low spots all at the same time. Alrighty, let's walk over here for a second. We're gonna go to Doug's side of the car. Doug's got the window in the car. Awesome job, Doug, awesome. So he's taken that mess, and all the mess that he's got around here and actually got me a window put in the car with a window there, a motor there that's working. So this is what, so you're not gonna slam the door?
Can if you want me to.
No. So that, that's basically, what's will the window fall, will it, or is not up all the way?
No, it shouldn't. I mean, it's not final, but.
Yes, I understand. So that's what it was before, and this is what we have now. So this piece here, I'm seeing this piece coming off the window here, and then I'm going to use the back window, the window that went up in here. I'll take this, I'm thinking this, well, this is just steel, that's chrome, no doubt in my mind. I'll take that piece off that window, and I'll take this piece off this window, and I will make this chrome piece that fits this hole. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm just going to take them two pieces. That's what I see. Doug said there's an awful gap here, and I said yes, there is. But there's a gap down here. But there's a big rubber that goes in that screws to the underneath of this roof to accept that window. My dog wants out, so I'm going to let her out.
A whole lot of rubber.
It's a whole lot of rubber.
A whole lot of rubber.
You know what you do with 365 used rubbers, Doug?
You make door trim.
Huh?
You make door trim.
You make a tire and call it a Goodyear. So this is what we got going on here. We got the fiberglass on that seam. So when this is not dry right yet, so what I'm going to do is I'll come in here, I'll coat from here to here with filler and try to gently take that out, just like the drywall. So if I have just that there, you'd probably see it. You'd probably see it in your paintwork. If you spread it out, like your drywall, when you paint it, you probably will not see it. So I will come in here, I will coat this. I'll come over here and sand this while this is drying, and then just kind of back and forth while I'm sanding, or before I sand this, I come in here and I fill all around the back window. So it's kind of, you kind of set yourself up that you can keep working. So as like I say, I ground that off, I fiberglassed it, I come over here, I put the filler on this, get this going, then I go back over, I get the filler going, I put it on that. That'll give me time to sand this. When I'm done sanding this, I can come over here, I can put some filler on this, let this dry, and I can come up here and go sanding. It's kind of a process that you can get into where you can make yourself very quick. Anytime I want to go over to the trunk lid or to the hood, basically the exact same thing. Let's take a walk across. It might be windy out, so bear with us. Elvis is still outdoors. The airbags are not lifting the front end of the car, and I feel like I'm going to have to get some different airbags in the front. That car has to come off the chassis to get the underneath painted. The underneath's all painted now, but I really have to get underneath the chassis, or take that off the chassis and get that done. So we're in the new shop. As you can see, I've been starting to do what I've been wanting to do, and that's display everything that we have collected over the time. You know, we got our little race car, that sort of stuff that was given to us. We got some, just all kinds of stuff that was given to us. This is the stuff from Australia. Some of the stuff that people give us, we want to make sure that we display it. Little cars, father and son made, knot neck, just everything like that. So I'm just showing the stuff that we got from Australia. There's a few things that we had. Basically just getting everything up and displaying it on the walls. I'm just going slow. With the new shop, I do not want to put any holes in the wall. So everything that I'm hanging up, I'm just pulling the screw out of the metal, and then I'm putting it back in with what we're doing. We're holding that stuff there. That's what we're doing. I made a new, as I'm not doing body work, or I'm not working on the car, I make a shelf. I make a shelf. Basically, I spend my time doing things, and that way there, it keeps me going. All right, to the chassis of the Bugatti. The brake lines are all been put on. I think everybody knows that. If you have not been back and if you've not seen, the brake lines are on. Ready for the master cylinder. The master cylinder's on the car, so we can't do anything there. We'll start at the beginning. Not the beginning, but from the last time. The manifold has been put on. Every stud had to be tapped to make it, go on nice, because they were burred up, they were chewed up, whatever. The carburetors, the spacer and the carburetors have been put on. We put some seafoam in the carburetors. We're hoping that they're going to come back around or nothing's wrong with them. We got this end piece off and got it put back on and put the new gaskets in it. I did a video on that, me beating on that, and I did not get it off. The mechanic I have working on this, Nathan, actually got it off within no time flat. The valve pan covers. He put the gasket on. He put the valve pan covers on. Instead of what he did is we were going to put O-rings or rubber rings around this, because this is just a cover that goes over top of the valve pan cover that we made to make it look like a Bugatti. He took the old copper washers that we had on the original valve pan covers, or they're not valve pan covers, they're cam covers. He took them and put the copper washers underneath the new cover, and then put a brand new copper washer on top of the cover. That's what he did. And he got the cam covers put back on with the pieces of aluminum that we made. We taken all the head bolts off. We put he has put on the new bolts and torqued them down, put new washers on, because we bought a chrome set. That's what we wanted. We want it to detail a little bit better. It's a little dirty in there right now, but it's clean when we go to clean it out. He had a problem with 3 of them. They did not come out very good. Or they didn't come out at all, to be honest with you. They tried to pull the stud out, and it wasn't feeling good. They didn't want to twist the stud off or anything, because that would have been a very big issue if we would have. The studs in that head are about that long with that bolted on top. What happened there, which I would not have known what to do. I would not have known what to do, just haven't got the experience. Now, when he had 3 here, what happened is he took a hammer. He whacked the top of it a couple times, trying to free it up to get it to come off. He could not get it off. There was 3 of them there. So you can see where that's flattened on the top. You can see how that's flattened on the top. Can you see that? How it's got a flat across there? Mm-hmm. So what he did is he took a drill drilled a hole in it, and then put some penetrant fluid in there, in that hole, in 3 of those, and let them set until he come back. He just comes night times and helped me out, you know, when he can. But he drilled 3 of them and let the penetrants in it, and then come back in 3-4 days later, and then come right off. See, that's something that I would not have gotten. I would have not gotten that. He's got the headers put on. When we put the headers on, this is an aftermarket header situation that we have on. They did not fit. They fit on the head itself, but they did not fit the engine. If you come on the back side over here, we had to sand the edge of the block to get that header to work. So that's what had to be done there. When we have this engine's a 1984. We had a 1969. Is that what we had the first time that went bad?
I think it's 67.
Okay, we had an earlier 4.2. This is still a 4.2, but we had an earlier one when we first started. You've seen when that went bad. So we're into the newer one. So this was a fuel injected engine, and it's all being changed over. I did a few videos on, I don't know if I did videos on making brackets for the water pump. I think I did. For the water, or for the power steering pump and the alternator. But if you come over on this side, there's my soldering job, boys. Huh? There's my soldering job. If you come on this side right here, where the oil filter is, we'll be putting a Fram on that. We'll be putting a Fram oil filter on that. That's the original one, just left it there until we get a new one. But it had an oil cooler system on it, and it was big and bulky, and this car, I'd never set this car up for an oil cooler system on it. I didn't set it up for that because we had the older engine, so I had to delete it. What we come up with the first time is that I cut off the leads that come out of this bung and this bung. I cut the leads off them. It had 2 big hoses coming out, and I cut the bung off and then welded it up, and we just kind of closed it off. Well, Nathan thought it over for a little bit before we got going, and that's not going to work. And the reason being is the oil is not going to be able to return. It would, you know, if you close it off, that's fine, but the oil is not going to be able to return because there must be a system in there where the oil goes around and returns through there and goes back in through the oil cooler. So what we're going to have to do, or what we're thinking is, we're going to have to make that return from here over to this one, and we're going to have to just drill it and tap it or do something to get the oil to go through. If not, he's thinking that this would build up pressure and blow off the oil filter. We don't want that in Jolene's car, and the reason being is we basically probably have to take off the whole car to work on this car, and I'm thinking that's why this car would be so expensive to work on, because you would have to take the body off. We put some new hose on here. We got this, I guess, just an air filter for the cam gear, I guess, or the head gear. We got new studs put in that. I asked him when I put the fan on. It was a bit wobbly and a bit crooked. I asked Nathan whether the fan was any good, and he went like this. Nope. I said, well, what do you mean? He said, well, if the clutch fan was any good, it wouldn't spin like that. You know, it's just free spinning. So if you have a clutch fan, if you want to know if it's any good, if you can take your finger and just spin it like that, well, that means the clutch is no good in it. So what's going to happen there is, if I cannot get another fan, which I probably just won't, we're going to make a bracket from where I bolt the fan on to the back of the clutch, so the fan will just turn with the engine, and we'll make one on one side and one on the other, and that way there it cannot fail. It has to turn. Jolene has searched for some wires. We're going to put some antique cloth looking covered wires on it, so that'll look nice. We'll kind of give it that period effect. We got the hole drilled out for the oil cover on this cover, and I had a hole in it, but never had it really big enough. Just put a little silicone in there and cleaned it up so it's nice. Repainted the pieces that come off to take the engine out at any time. The power steering pump has been pulled in as far as it can. We have the length of the belt. There was a big issue about the belt is going to hit the bottom of the new radiator line. We've got it pulled in far enough. There's not a chance that it's going to hit. We've got it tested out. And what we did is we just cut the hose and made it to the length that it has to be, and I'll go get a brand new hose. Or not a hose, sorry, excuse me, a belt, a brand new fan belt to fit that for the power steering pump. We'll probably end up taking that back off and cutting some of that thread off the power steering pump. And all this stuff is not going in it doesn't go in minutes. It takes hours just to get this set up and get that put on there. I blasted that, I clear coated it. He had to tap all the studs coming out and we had to make studs for the adapters. It's time consuming for little tiny bits of stuff, but we're actually going forward one hurdle at a time, and it's feeling good that this part is getting there. It's getting closer all the time. But I mean, if you have to run to town and get a belt, well, you have to run to town and get a belt. If I have to run to town to try to find a hose, I have to run, it takes time to go there and get that stuff and get it done. To sandblast that, or glass bead that, or to sandblast the intake and clear coat it. To find the wires on the internet and get them delivered here and get the right ones. And, do we want a 90 on the end? Do we want a female at the distributor? Do we want a male at the distributor? Do we want 90s at the end of the wires? Do we want straight? It all takes effort. So that's basically where we're at. We're getting closer, closer, and closer to starting the engine. We will do the video on this when we start this. There's still places where I have to take bolts out to put lock washers on. There's still a few things. See, just to make the bracket, to make the fan work, will take time. Will take time. All right, everybody, there's the wall I got done so far. There's what we got done on the engine. This is at nighttime. We work during the day, and this is nighttime. So this is what we do. For my mental health, I keep busy. And I've said it a lot. I think if you go back in the videos, that if you keep busy, your brain doesn't have to go anywhere other than what you're doing. And that's what I do, is I keep busy. And I get enjoyment out of it because I get things done and I get to see things. I get to see things I've never seen before. Like I get to see this to come together. I get to see the engine come together. I get to see the T-bird. I get to see all different kinds of things because I'm doing something full time. And if you want anything in life, you must work. You have to. And I'll tell you something. If you work 5 days a week, you can do okay. If you work 7 days a week, you're going to do better, aren't you? And that's what we like to do. Have a great day, everybody. Come back tomorrow and we'll be here.